Call a meeting of the Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee to order Tuesday, September 19th at 3 p.m. in the fourth floor of the county building. We have a roll call.
Do you want to do
No, am I supposed to do it?
it? Need the vice? I think so.
No, the secretary does it.
Oh, okay. Big Hick,
Here.
Stewart here, Digby,
Here.
Burgandy,
Here,
and Eckstein.
Next time's excused.
Got it.
All right. We have a quorum. Minutes of the 6/20/23 special meeting.
I move to accept the minutes of the special meeting as printed.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizens input. Not too many. Okay. We'll
Amazing.
move on.
That is. I'm
Petitions
surprised.
and Communications. Don't think we have any resolutions. I don't have any communications. Sports resolutions. Old business.
It's here, right?
Memorial Engraver update. Mr. Marks?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Matt was actually able to get a hold of the gentleman to do the engraving. We've talked to him. He's willing to do it. He is getting the paperwork back to us and indicated that he could still engrave the monument before winter this year. So we can still get the name on the monument, get that done, and then at some point plan a ceremony of some sort at some place.
Mr. Ewell.
For Mr. Ewell, yeah, died World War II, so.
Yeah. He doesn't have many relatives in the area.
Who's doing it?
TNT
TNT.
engraving, I think is what it's, out of
That's the
Saginaw.
one that you got, I think that,
Or-
or maybe,
That was on the
there's
guy
been a
on Bay
couple of
Road?
them, so I'm not sure if that's the one that you got the name of, or this person was gonna do it early on, and he didn't want to do the vendor for him, so now he's filled out the vendor for him, so.
We made many calls on it and found the guy, then he wasn't answering no more. So we came back to it and found this gentleman. He said he will do it now.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
There was a problem in past, but we're starting fresh with him.
Cool.
We'll treat him good.
We will.
All right, so that's an update on that. So once we get that done, we can do a proclamation from the board and then have a ceremony out with the church, mainly the church members. It's really the church that brought this up, so we've got some contact there. So. All righty. We've been working on this for what, 3-4 years, somewhere in
At
that
least,
range?
yeah, it's been 3 or 4 years, yes.
About, I think since we started the committee almost.
Yeah.
And then we also have the Veteran Service, let's see, CVSF. Mr. Mark knows what it stands for.
It's the County Veteran Service Fund Grant for fiscal year of 2024, which we submitted back in May or June, sometime early summer. We've been notified by the state that they accepted our proposal, and which usually starts the 1st of October will be the date that the first check rolls in, and then after that initial amount is used, the $50,000, then the rest is reimbursed back through the state quarterly. So, and there was a total of, I believe, 110,000. I think was the total.
Yep.
$110,643.52, which mainly funds salary and benefits for the employees, and then any money that the millage would have used to fund that is then put back into the emergency relief budget for that. So that mostly covers what Gary and I. So and then 2 other items we had on there. One was for a contract worker to finish the cemetery project, as the 3 cemeteries here in town were not finished. And then the other thing, if time allowed, was to have him or them begin investigating who's on the memorial out front and find any information we can so we can compile a book or some other resource that we can then, have available to our community, at least saying, hey, these are the people who were on the memorial These are the deceased service people. You know, any information we have, you know, where they're buried, what was their service, what branch, what anything we can possibly find. Obviously, the older ones will be harder, and I have something on the newer ones, so. And then there was a small remainder of money, which at the suggestion of Finance Department, so we put in for a contract driver possibly in the event that we needed to replace, as we had a problem earlier when we had 2 drivers alone. Now we've got 4 for the moment, so we're okay. But we've got a small portion in there for a possible contract driver, so. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Mark, how are the vehicles maintenance-wise?
Mostly okay. The one is starting to have some issues. The Ford had another issue. I can't remember if it's a starter or something had gone on the Ford.
We just had it fixed though, right?
We just had it fixed
Yeah.
recently. So, but unfortunately, to look at that one, we'll have to go through the bid process if we choose to replace that, because it's our only handicap accessible vehicle. It's got the lift on the back. So in order to replace it, we're going to have to go out and look at.
That's the white van.
The white van, the white Ford Kano, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So that will be a large purchase if we have to replace that. And otherwise, the other two, I believe, are 2019 that we bought during COVID.
And the grant, we wouldn't be able to use a grant for the vehicle? That'd have to-
We would not, because it covers salaries, and my understanding with the grant is if we take the salaries out, and since the salaries have technically never been paid for by the millage, because we were not employees at the time,
Right.
that if we can't put it back, if it's then been budgeted through the regular budget process. And I will double check that. So we'd have to pay for it out of emergency relief funding, out of the millage money then to pay for a vehicle.
Any other questions?
We can't ask for any more. Go
I
ahead.
know sometimes Jim Barsha used to get them from other county agencies
Or
to
the
use
sheriff?
here. What's that?
Or the sheriff, or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if one is available, definitely, we could look at.
We could use the armored vehicle that's,
MRAP.
the MRAP.
wouldn't get very good gas.
We'll be able to afford the diesel.
No, or the maintenance. And that's, so that amount, the 110,000, is determined by the state. That includes the base of the 50,000, and then the additional is based on our veteran population. So it's not a guarantee, even the 50,000 isn't a guaranteed, it depends on the budget of the state. And if that $4 million or $5 million is in the budget.
I hate to bring this up, but I will. Do we have a updated estimate on a number of veterans in Bay County? I know somebody used to say it was 8,000, which I find hard to believe.
There was 7,000 was the last time, I can get that to you, 7,092 or something was the last,
That's what I heard too.
as I recall. But I will get that and report back that number.
Does that include the deceased ones or just the
That was strictly living.
living?
Yes, and obviously the further we get away from the Korean War and the Vietnam, there are less, as less were needed, so.
Yep.
Okay. The question about the van service, so what are we running right now for the van? How many days a week? or 4 days a week?
Yes,
Okay.
and the numbers vary. There's not one day. We run as many as 8. We run as few as 1 or 2.
Yeah. And we have enough drivers?
We have 4 currently. 2 of them probably will go to Florida. So we have to wait and see. And I think Gary had 1 or 2 of them that are still, either they're interested in doing it, so we've got to wait through that process.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we need, we're spending money for the memorial engraver update. I guess we don't have a figure yet to pin down what he's going to charge us for it, or has he given you a rough estimate?
I don't recall, the last estimate we had was, I think, $200. So that's not a problem to come from.
Yeah.
We can find that from somewhere.
For the engraving?
For the engraving.
The first guy I had, probably first week here, it was 100, I got him to do it for 100, but then he's not answering calls no more. So this one, we didn't get a quote yet.
No, I
So
just-
could it be anywhere from 100 to 200 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And we may have passed a motion several years ago on spending the money. I'm not sure. We'd have to look back through the,
I can look back certainly and see
Yeah.
if I'm sure we did
yeah.
3 or 4 years ago
Yeah.
to do that, so we'd have to look back.
Thank you. New business. We have a lot of activities going on. I asked Mark to get a list of some of the ones because it seemed like there were a lot of them at our Legion meeting. So there's I know they just had, I think this last weekend, wasn't it? They had a veterans thing in Midland. I think it was Kildee put that one on. Seemed like it was last Saturday.
Oh, at the park there, yes. He does one every year, usually within his area, and he rotates it between, well, Midland now, Flint, Saginaw, and Bay County, which I think we did Bay County last year at the state park.
So he's calling me. I just have a phone. Okay. Yes.
A number of years ago, VVA did a petition. Ray Aschumacher was the president at the time, about that flag out on I-75 for repairs. They did have the brick for it,
Yeah.
but the individual that owned the land would not let us on there to repair it.
Yeah.
Where the brick went, that was Van Poppelen, I think, had it,
Okay.
had the brick. And there's been comments I've heard that people want to get that repaired.
Yeah. I think I've got that person. I contacted him a few years ago, and there were
10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's been several years ago, yes. And actually, it was from somebody up in Aranac County. I think it was a Vietnam vet in Aranac County goes by there, and he called me a couple weeks ago if we can get that repaired. So I'd have to reach out again to this person. And I think there's farmland that you have to get through that he doesn't own, that we have to get permission to go through. I know there's a road off of Wilder that goes back there along I-75 that takes you back into that area. It's a little rough, a little bumpy. Have you been back there, or you got?
Yeah, it's called the Flag Pond. I think that was created when Little Michigan was supposed to go there, that brick memorial. It's called the Flag Pond, but yeah, there's a road exactly right to it. I grew up kind of by there,
Yeah.
so I know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to get that updated.
Nice
Yeah,
flag.
well, a friend of mine, George, from George's Auto, he had a tank for hauling water, 250 gallon, if we needed it back then. I talked to him about it. The tank could be used
For like
for hauling water,
power washing or?
to wash it,
Yeah.
for the mortar mix, whatever.
So I think I went to the Register of Deeds and found out who owns that property. So I probably need to do that again and then get his permission and then get the farmer's permission to drive back there. So let me work on that project. I may have his number at home. I remember I worked on that project and I think I might have his number at home. So he lives in Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids or something, so he's not local. So a little bit harder, but I'll see what I can do, get contact.
All right.
Veterans Resource Fair, November 9th at the Bay County Community Center from 10 to 2. Mark, you want to speak about that?
I'm certainly happy to. So the Department of Veterans Affairs, Bay County, is doing a resource fair in support of Operation Greenlight through the Board of Commissioners. You all should have a flyer. I apologize, we haven't gotten a letter to you yet inviting you all to come out. We're going to have, yep, thank you. We're going to have, there are several county offices that'll be there. We've been contacted through all the representatives, through Congressman Peters, Dan Kildee, we'll have someone there. McDonald Rivet, Senator McDonald Rivet will have someone there, and then either Tim Beeson will be there himself or there will be someone. So in addition to having these resources, we're having the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency is going to be there through the state. They're bringing their DD-214 team to down so they can instantly print them if they have them on file. for veterans. And then we're also having folks from the Saginaw VA to be there as well to assist with registration, with getting any questions that folks have with that. So in addition to other resources or anything of interest to the veteran community, and that is the 2 days before Veterans Day at the community center in the small gym. So in lunch, we're still working out all the details, but lunch will be served as well. So, and then we're also going to, after the second half, I guess, of the day, we're going to have a question and answer session. We're going to have folks fill out a piece of paper to ask the question that we're going to ask of the representatives in the senator's office there. We're going to allow them to speak for a few minutes to talk about whatever issues are coming up for veterans and Veterans Affairs, and then we will be able to ask questions of them.
The veteran of the game is on here also, so we might want to think of
That was something we'd received, sorry, sir, we'd received from a gentleman at the Saginaw Spirit, and we'd asked to pass it along, and I brought it up during the meeting the other day at the Legion, said we would do so, so.
So if anybody knows a veteran, would love to go to the hockey game, be acknowledged, and this is if you want more flyers on it, it's a great thing. Just nominate with that website.
So who should we turn the name into?
There's, I believe on the bottom of the flyer, there is an email address.
Oh, yeah, email, Parker, okay.
And if you need it, I kept a copy of it,
What's
so.
that?
I didn't
Okay.
mark turmeric.
Yeah, good idea.
I've done it once, years ago.
Yep,
Everybody's familiar with Operation Green Light, correct? Really looking forward to getting green lights on the county building. I think today put a thing across the boards for to recognize October through November as Veterans Operation Green Lights.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and hopefully the county will put, I think they did in the past, green lights here in the building. We recommend that all businesses, people's homes, anything that will put green light to show respect and support the service. I hope it can catch on more. I went to a 9/11 memorial on the Edison on 9/11, and I talked to a gal that's running that, and I kind of informed her about the Operation Green Light. I'd say if any way possible, it'd be really cool if they could get a green light on that boat, so we can start informing the public more about this and get it bigger for support of veterans. So we're hoping this fair is a really great thing. Thank you for all your hard work on that, Mark.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
and we should probably get a resolution maybe in October.
It's actually coming up today at 4 o'clock, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it last month.
I guess I should have read the agenda.
It was coming today, I believe, so it should hopefully be approved and
So we'll have it then.
recognized.
It's too bad we
Actually,
can't hand out green light bulbs at that fair. If you're cheap enough, maybe we wonder if Home Depot would donate them.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're trying to get, is that one of them to have them available beforehand,
Yeah,
so people can put them on their homes, obviously, before,
that's
or
cool.
during that weekend, at least, of Veterans Day.
We have ours.
Let's see, yeah, so veteran of the game, if you have somebody you want to nominate, do that. Veterans Day ceremony will be the 11th, Saturday at 11. Is that 11/11 or is it not?
11/11, I believe.
At 11/11.
Okay,
Fayette County Veterans Council Honor Guard
Okay.
and VVA Honor Guard will be there for the ceremony.
Who is the guest speaker this year?
the guest speaker.
Or who is speaking this year?
Added, Jim Marsh is always willing to speak, but I don't think we've lined anybody up yet. It'll be up to the Legion and the VVA, or the Color Guard, I guess, or the county, somebody.
And Veterans, I think usually takes
Yeah,
care.
I think you're right.
Yeah, we always haven't had a speaker, but we could try to find somebody.
What's that lady's name? She does it, I think.
I don't know, I won't be there.
I never meet her up north. I think you're right. I think it is AMVETS.
We'll put our heads together and find a speaker. Somebody told me about a POW that lives, who it was, lives in Bay, two of them that live in Bay County. We're trying to find them for the
If you could get Bob Hayhurst to speak, that would be fantastic.
Bob
Hayhurst,
Okay,
Heyhurst.
okay.
Robert Hayhurst was a POW who escaped from the North Vietnamese in the early part of the Vietnamese War.
Is he a member of the Legion, or do
He
you
is a
have?
member of the American Legion.
American
Now, he
Legion.
had a couple of health issues.
Yeah.
He lives down in the, what is it, the Gadeen building down there? What's the building on the riverfront?
Maple, or, not Maplewood,
I've heard him speak.
Jennison's?
Jennison, yeah.
The boat house,
I
Genesis
think
Boat
I
House?
think he lives down in Jennison Boathouse, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
But he's a great guy. He's married to Perry Woodward.
Oh, okay.
We can look him up.
Want his number?
Yeah. I don't know if we should read it on the air or not.
I'll give
Right.
it to you
Yeah,
after.
may give it to me, yeah.
After a meeting.
Maybe
I don't know,
on the
I don't
calls.
think I have it, actually.
Yeah. So that's that ceremony, and we did have the POW MIA ceremony on the 15th, with the third Friday of the month, which we'll be doing in the future. That's the actual date of the POW MIA National Celebration. So in the future, it'll be that third Friday. Hey, had a pretty good turnout. We had about 30, 40 people there, so,
About 40.
yeah, that was good.
Is that in August?
Pardon me?
August?
No, it's September.
September, third Friday, September.
Yep, it's the third Friday. Let's see, post-18 Veterans Dinner on November 4th. Mr. Pregandi, want to give us some information?
The commander can cover that.
Commander.
I have nothing to do with that. I'll be gone.
The commander.
Sorry, call me Mark, it's okay. So we're trying to do a dinner on the 11th, the 4th of November for veterans. Like I said, more information to follow. We're still working on details of flyer. It will be, I believe, at 5 o'clock, starting at 5 o'clock at the post. Planning on 3 meets and everything else to follow. So approximately, I believe we're saying $10 for a veteran, $15 for a non-veteran, $25 for a couple, including the veteran. So it'd be $30 for a non-veteran couple. Don't need to be a member of any organization, don't even need to be a veteran if you want to come to the dinner just to support, so.
But there's a charge, right?
There is a charge, yes.
$10.
We're just trying to cover the cost of the food.
Yeah.
We're not trying to cover, we're not trying to make money off the deal, we're just trying to have a nice dinner and
A lot of stuff going on for veterans.
And just the reason we didn't have it on the 11th is because there's all the other offers out there
Yeah.
for veterans to go have dinner for free elsewhere, so we didn't feel we would get as many as if we offered it earlier. And then later, we're into hunting season and Thanksgiving and
Any other events? I've got one about, I saw Senator Daley's webpage or his newsletter, and there was legislation that is pursuing about amending that law from 1899 about the $10 for veterans. There's a lot of things in there that are outdated, so he's working on updating that version of the old law to make it more up to date. So I haven't seen the whole legislation yet, but it's been, a lot of people have been trying to work on it.
Yeah, going along with that, the American Legion Department of Michigan is is attempting to have some input to that in requesting that the law be expanded not just to cover active duty veterans, but Guard and Reserve also. And I'm going to a meeting this weekend, and I'm going to request that they also include a request to have indigent defined. We've been wrestling with that for how many years?
Right. And actually, there's an aide that works with him that I brought this idea up to, so I hope I've germinated the seed to get this thing going, because we've been talking about it for a while, and we've had some other legislators working on it, but not getting it done, so hopefully we can get it through this time and add the things that we need to add. There'll probably be some hearings on it, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. All right, any other announcements? Citizens' input? Not too much, that. A motion to adjourn is always in order.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.